Hello. In this video for the interactive elements, we're going to learn how to customize the specific element properties. So there's two ways to do that. The easiest way, the way that's done from the inspector, is if you use this element properties managers. This is in the demo scene. It's also located in the prefab folder for the package. Right? If I then go to prefabs, this one right here, managers, here it goes. And you just click this in the hierarchy, right, and it appears. So with the element properties, we see fire, ice, water, wood. Now these do just as you expect. If I go over fire, these are the base values for the element fire. So when fire freezes, when it burns, and its minimum and maximum temperatures, and its next touch rate. So that's how often the temperature can change of the object. Now I mentioned temperature because it's important to know all of these objects are interacting with each other based on temperature gauges. Fire increases the temperature gauge of, for instance, water or wood or ice or any of them, right? And conversely, ice decreases the temperature gauge. So once these elements reach a certain temperature on their individual temperature gauges, that's when the different triggers happen and the different effects occur. So changing these values, the base values, will change how quickly or slowly you want something to freeze or burn. And just as the manager indicate, make sure the minimum temperature, the maximum temperature, right, are lower and higher than the freeze and the burn. These are just clamping values so the numbers don't get out of control. The next thing you'll notice is if you open these up, you have reaction values. So this has the individual temperature increases or decreases for each element. Fire increases wood by 1. So when fire touches wood, it increases the temperature by 1. And so forth with the other elements as well. So if we look at the wood manager values, we see that it sets ablaze, it burns at 10. So that means when the fire, right, touches the wood enough that it increases it past the 10 mark, then it'll catch a blaze. So changing these numbers will also affect how quickly or slowly or not at all elements affect each other. And that is the same for all of the elements here. The things that are unique are convection values. These are just values how when the fire is not touching but it's nearby an object, what should be the increase in wood temperature. Here I have a wood increase of 3. This is just for testing purposes. It probably doesn't make sense to have the fire temperature on convection values higher than the touch values. So I would want to change this to 1. Go back to the touch values and change that to 3. That way the temperature increases more quickly when they touch. It still increases when they're nearby, but just not as quickly. The other things, the fire spread radius, this is just the radius around the fire will spread. If I click on a fire object here and I hit play, you'll see it in the as a debug draw a sphere. See that sphere right there? That means that is all of the area being increased in temperature around the object. So increasing this fire spread radius value makes that circle here larger. The other unique one is the water, because when water freezes it expands, so you could tell about the expand, how much more you want it to expand by, and when it evaporates it shrinks. So you can tell it how to shrink. You can also give it the speed of evaporation. So this is then the time that it's going to shrink in that, so it doesn't just do it instantly. Same with ice expand. If you don't want it to do it instantly, you can change the time so it occurs more gradually. So to change element values via the inspector, you must always have this element properties manager in the scene. And then you could change them all here through the inspector. These are the values then the elements will use throughout your whole scene.